Good evening, I'm Scott Beadle with St. George News at 8. A Dixie State University student is arrested on a first-degree rape charge over 3 months after that incident was reported. 21-year-old Samuel Butler is accused of raping a female DSU student on January 9th. The woman told police she met Butler using the Tinder app. It says Butler told her that he wanted to, quote, get laid. She says she was clear she wasn't interested in that, but would have coffee with him. She says Butler picked her up at her apartment, but instead took her to his apartment and forced himself upon her. The woman reported it to police the next day. Police also learned Butler had other similar allegations made against him. A Hurricane City man is arrested for allegedly making terroristic threats, and police say this is not his first offense. On April 17th, 25-year-old David Grant Torrey used the name Assad Muhammad to send a message to the Hurricane City Police Department on social media, claiming he was going to blow up the White House and detonate smaller bombs in Hurricane City. Police were already familiar with Torrey due to his history of making these threats, and he had been placed on supervised probation. Torrey previously threatened to kill the governor, kill President Trump and President Obama, and also to join ISIS. Torrey was arrested Tuesday. He faces 2 felony counts of threats of terrorism and is currently in jail. St. George police are looking for a driver who struck a light pole, breaking it off the base and fleeing the scene. It happened Wednesday evening around 7:30. Police were called to Bluff Street, where the damaged light pole was lying off to the side of the roadway. A man working on the roof of a nearby residence told police he heard a loud crashing sound, turned around just as the pole fell onto a dark blue pickup truck, possibly a Ford. Anyone with information is asked to contact the St. George Communications Center at 435-627-4300. Washington City councilors face the city's growing pains at a special meeting focused on the pending 2017-2018 budget. The tentative budget calls for a general fund of $15.8 million. However, city manager Roger Carter says the budget has not necessarily matched population growth. Carter says the city gained about 1,400 new residents last year. Various city department heads shared the challenges that they face. The city fire chief says it can be difficult getting new volunteers and keeping them. The police chief expressed that same challenge in his department, along with the need to replace some aging cruisers. The proposed budget is currently being reviewed by the council and will be presented for public review on May 10th. Right now, President Trump and Congress are trying to avoid a government shutdown as both sides fight over funding and health care. There's more reaction to the president's new tax reform plan, and there's a new investigation into Trump's former national security advisor. Kenneth Moten reports from Washington.
Today, President Trump hosted Argentina's president.
My good friend for many, many years.
And directed his administration to investigate if the building of military planes and vehicles is being impacted by rising aluminum imports.
Aluminum is critical to our manufacturing and defense industry base.
Trump focused on the military, while the Pentagon is now turning its attention to the president's first national security advisor. The Defense Department Inspector General opened a new investigation into retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, whom Democrats say was warned in 2014 to get approval before taking foreign money.
The Pentagon's warning to General Flynn was bold, italicized, and could not have been clearer.
Flynn's attorney responded, saying he briefed the Pentagon before and after his 2015 speaking event in Russia. The Trump White House dealing with the Flynn fallout by pointing the finger.
His clearance was last reissued by the Obama administration in 2016 with full knowledge of his activities that occurred in 2015.
The president also waiting to sign a 1-week extension Friday to keep the government open.
The reason this government funding bill is not ready is because Democrats have been dragging their feet.
Both sides already preparing for the next fight, the new GOP health care bill and the president's tax reform plan.
His tax outline is a wish list for billionaires. Trickle down all over again.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Summers has your Southern Utah forecast next.
The weather tonight is brought to you by Experamac. Experience Mac computers in a new way.
welcome back, everyone. A good Thursday evening to you. Pretty nice picture sent in to us from actually Lake Powell area at Hall's Crossing. Seeing a lot of clouds out there, a few clouds anyway from time to time, but some sunshine as well as temperatures made it back into the low to mid 70s here late this afternoon. Looks like a great day to be out on the lake across parts of southwestern Utah. Like into the next couple of days, though, we're going to see a little rain move into our area here as we head into the weekend. But before that gets here, we have a wind advisory going into effect tonight, and that'll last into early tomorrow morning. Seeing just around St. George, again, Cedar City, Hurricane, that's where you could see the gusty winds. Just St. George itself may not see as gusty as winds as they will in Hurricane and also Cedar City. You could see gusts as high as 50 miles per hour here overnight tonight, so definitely seeing some windy conditions in the forecast, and for that reason then that wind advisory in effect for, again, southwestern parts of Utah overnight tonight. But as we get through the day on your Friday, not quite as breezy, but a little bit cooler. Our temperatures are going to drop by about 10 degrees from what we saw today. That puts our highs back into the mid 60s in much of St. George and southern Utah. Even in the parts of Cedar City, probably see temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s. Now as we head into the weekend, then we start to warm back up a little bit. Again, some gradual warming happening as we head into the weekend. Should get back at least into the mid to upper 70s. And even next week staying pretty nice here with lots of sunshine expected through early next week. Taking a look at our surface map, then you can see a little bit of green on the map indicating just a chance for some showers trying to get into parts of southwestern Utah. But again, I think most of us will stay dry through much of Friday. Overnight tonight, though, into early tomorrow morning, that's with those wind advisory in effect. Again, gusty winds here in southwestern Utah as well. That system that's bringing the rain will finally pull out of the area over the weekend, though. And once we get on the nice backside of it anyway, we'll get back into some warmer weather. And Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice around here as temperatures get back into the upper 70s in most areas. But here's your forecast in Cedar City. 27 to start out the day on Friday. And looking like highs only back in the mid 40s by the afternoon. But those winds will be a little gusty, north winds as high as 20 miles per hour. St. George then seeing temperatures start in the low 50s around 7 o'clock in the morning for your Friday. Back to 63 degrees for the high in the afternoon. North winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. It was a nice day, though. 76 degrees the high today here in St. George, 75 degrees in Hurricane, 58 degrees up in Cedar City, and again, southern parts of Nevada, still seeing temperatures into the low 80s. Mesquite at 82 for a high, and St. George, or I should say Las Vegas, at 83. Before tonight, back to 24 in Cedar City. Everyone else mid 40s to low 50s with mainly clear skies. For our Friday then, yeah, a little bit cooler than we saw today. Mid 40s in Cedar City, low 60s from St. George to Hurricane. Still in the low 70s though in Mesquite with gusty winds around the area. Now 7-day forecast does show that warmer weather getting back in here for the weekend, especially in Cedar City, back into the mid 60s by Sunday. Pretty dry though to next week. Could be seeing 70s though in Cedar City by late next week. Here in southern Utah then, we'll see temperatures get back into the mid to upper 70s as we head into our Sunday, but next week back into the 80s, and yeah, by the end of next week, could be talking about temperatures close to 90 in parts of southern Utah. So definitely looking at like some more summer-like temperatures in our forecast late next week, but a couple cool days here tomorrow and on Saturday before we get that warmer weather back in here. But again, looking pretty dry here. Just have to be careful of that wind here overnight tonight, as it could be pretty gusty with that wind advisory in effect.
And that weekend just looks gorgeous, doesn't it?
Yeah, looking very nice out there. Lots of sunshine and temperatures getting back above average once again, which is good news for us.
Thanks, Chris. KCSG Channel 8 has teamed up with Experamac to give away an iPad at the end of this month. All you have to do is go to the KCSG Facebook page or kcsg.com to enter. Once you have entered, be sure to also use the keyword, which we will announce during each broadcast of the St. George News at 8, for an additional 30 entries. And tonight's keyword is Batman. You may enter the giveaway every day until May 1st, so be sure to tune in each weeknight to the St. George News at 8 for the keyword of the day and more chances to win an iPad, courtesy of KCSG and Experamac. Up next, how much would you pay for some mud-covered jeans? One store would like you to think a lot. Nordstrom made news this week for selling these blue jeans with fake mud. They're called Barracuda straight leg jeans, and they sell for $425. Well, there's a new spin on this now. Reebok has humorously entered the fray by adding the Reebok Authentic Sweat shirt to its website. The website says it comes complete with fake sweat stains, quote, created by the hardworking Reebok employees who always find time to sweat it out during the day. The price, $425, of course. Now, you can't really buy this. The Nordstrom mud jeans, however, those you really can buy. You know,
yeah, can you just go outside and get mud on your jeans?
Absolutely you can.
For free, almost, yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great night.